I have written part 1 of the story in simple and basic English, third-person style, about 450 words without headings. I saved it as a document for you. Here's the text of part 1. The Galactic Council sat in their large hall, full of pride and laughter. They had just received news about the humans and their so-called paratroopers. The council members laughed loudly. They thought humans were weak and foolish to send small teams to attack a mighty fortress. The fortress was built on a rocky planet, covered in heavy shields and guarded by the strongest alien soldiers in the galaxy, Captain Jake Miller. A human paratrooper leader stood quietly in his ship's briefing room. He listened as his team prepared for the mission. They knew the fortress was called the Breaking Fortress because no enemy had ever entered and returned alive. The Galactic Council had no idea what humans were truly capable of. Jake looked at his team carefully. There was Lisa, the smart hacker, Ben, the strong fighter, and Sarah, the scout who could move like a shadow. They were not many, but they had something the aliens did not expect: courage and clever plans. The humans had trained hard for this moment. Outside the ship, stars shone bright, and the fortress glowed in the distance. It seemed impossible to get close. The fortress was covered by thick energy shields and had dozens of defense turrets, ready to fire at any intruder. Many alien races watched from their ships, sure the humans would fail. The Galactic Council sent messages mocking the humans. They called them fools and said the fortress would crush any human attack. But Jake did not care about their words. He knew that the human way was to use quick thinking and surprise. As the team prepared their special suits and equipment, Jake gave them a quiet speech. He said, "We are small, but we are strong. We will not win by force alone. We will win by being smart and brave. This mission is not just for us. It is for all humans." The humans checked their weapons and tools one last time. They knew the mission was dangerous, but they trusted each other. They believed in the human spirit that never gave up, no matter how hard the challenge. The countdown began. The ship's engines roared as they moved toward the fortress. Jake's team was ready to jump. No one outside believed they could succeed. But the day a human landed inside the Breaking Fortress was about to change everything in the galaxy. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The human ship moved closer to the fortress. Captain Jake Miller and his small team prepared for the jump. They checked their suits, weapons, and communication devices one last time. Lisa, the hacker, tested their signal blockers to avoid detection. Ben tightened his armor, ready for any fight. Sarah moved quietly, scanning for threats. The fortress was even bigger than they expected. It had walls made of strong metal that shone under the distant sun. Energy shields pulsed around it, creating a bright blue glow. Many alien ships circled the fortress, watching closely. The Galactic Council was sure the humans would fail. Jake gave a small nod, and the team moved to the airlock. The door opened, and cold air rushed in. One by one, they jumped out of the ship. The suits helped them float down slowly toward the fortress surface. The jump was dangerous, but they stayed calm and focused. As they fell, they saw the fortress's defenses activate. Turrets turned and fired at them. Laser beams cut through the air, trying to hit the paratroopers. Ben used his shield to block the attacks. Lisa guided the team with her voice, telling them where to go to avoid danger. They landed on a ledge hidden by rocks and shadows. Sarah quickly scanned the area for guards. She saw some moving patrols and pointed to a small tunnel. The team moved quietly, avoiding the patrols with careful steps. They knew if they were caught, the mission would fail. Inside the fortress, the air was cold and dark.
Hey.
The walls were smooth and had strange glowing signs. Lisa pulled out her hacking device and started working on the fortress's security systems. She worked fast, trying to open doors and disable alarms. Ben kept watch, ready to fight any enemy. Jake planned their route carefully. They moved deeper into the fortress, facing traps and automatic bots. The bots tried to attack, but the humans used their weapons and skills to fight back. The team's small victories gave them hope. They were breaking through the fortress's defenses step by step. The Galactic Council's laughter seemed far away now. The humans were closer than anyone had imagined. Jake thought about the message he would send if they succeeded. It would change everything. The day a human landed inside the breaking fortress would be remembered forever. But for now, the team stayed alert. Danger was still all around, and the mission was far from over. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The team moved deeper inside the fortress. Jake led carefully, watching every corner. The walls seemed alive with glowing lines that pulsed softly. The air was tense and quiet. Every sound was important. Lisa worked on her hacking device. She was trying to open a large door blocking their path. The device beeped softly as it cracked the fortress's security. Suddenly, the door slid open with a hiss. The team moved quickly inside. The room was filled with strange machines and glowing panels. Sarah scanned the room for traps. She saw a few laser beams crossing the floor. The team carefully stepped over the beams, moving slowly and quietly. Ben stayed alert, his eyes watching the dark shadows. Suddenly, a group of small robots appeared. They moved fast, trying to attack. Ben raised his shield and pushed forward, fighting the robots. Jake and Lisa helped by shooting with their weapons. The robots were destroyed, but the team was now on high alert. They found a hallway with many doors. Jake chose the one with a red light. Lisa hacked the lock quickly, and the door opened. Inside was a control room filled with screens showing parts of the fortress. Jake looked at the screens, saw the fortress's energy shield was still strong, but the power was focused on a few key points. He told Lisa, "If we can shut down those points, the shield will go down." Lisa smiled. "Can try to hack them from here." She began typing fast on the console. The screen showed her progress. The aliens were unaware of the human intrusion. While Lisa worked, Sarah kept watch at the door. Ben stood ready, his weapon raised. Jake kept calm, knowing every second was important. After tense minutes, Lisa's face lit up. "I did it. The shield power points are offline." Immediately, the blue glow around the fortress flickered and started to fade. Jake smiled. "Good work, team. Now we must move fast." The fortress defenses were weakening. The Galactic Council's confidence was about to break. The team moved to the next target. They knew the hardest part was still ahead. The fortress's commander would not give up easily. But the humans had already changed the game. As they moved forward, Jake thought about the humans waiting on their home planet. He knew this mission would inspire all of them. The day a human landed inside the breaking fortress was becoming real, and the galaxy would never forget it. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Here is part 4 of the story, in simple and basic English. Third-person style, about 450 words, without headings. The fortress was now weaker, but the hardest part was still ahead. Jake led his team toward the heart of the fortress where the commander was believed to be. The halls grew darker, and the sounds of alarms echoed around them. The team moved carefully. Sarah used her scout skills to find hidden traps, she warned. The others, when she saw pressure plates and tripwires, Ben stayed close, ready to fight any enemy that appeared. Lisa kept hacking the fortress's systems. She tried to find the commander's location and disrupt his communications. The screens flickered, showing more alarms and warnings. The aliens were waking up to the danger. Suddenly, the team heard heavy footsteps. A group of alien soldiers appeared in front of them. Jake gave the order, and the team fought fiercely. "Hey!" Ben used his strength to push the soldiers back. Lisa shot with her laser gun, and Sarah moved quickly, dodging attacks and helping Jake. After a tough battle, the soldiers retreated. The team took a moment to catch their breath. Jake checked the map on his device. The commander was close, inside a large chamber. The team moved fast. The chamber door was huge and made of thick metal. Lisa hacked the lock, and the door opened slowly. Inside, the commander waited. He was tall and wore heavy armor, covered in symbols. Jake stepped forward and spoke calmly. "We are here to end this without more fighting." The commander laughed. "Humans, you think you can break my fortress? You are fools." The commander called for reinforcements. more soldiers rushed into the chamber. The team fought bravely, but the enemy was strong. Jake saw a control panel behind the commander. He shouted to Lisa, "Can you disable the weapons?" Lisa nodded and started working on the panel. The weapons systems began to fail. With the weapons down, the team fought harder. Ben broke through enemy lines, and Sarah found the commanders. Weak spots. Jake finally faced the commander. They fought hand to hand, each trying to win. After a long struggle, Jake's strength and skill won. The commander fell. Remaining soldiers surrendered. The team quickly secured the chamber. Lisa sent a message to the Galactic Council. "The breaking fortress is ours." The council fell silent, shocked by the news. Jake looked around at his team. They had done the impossible. The day a human landed inside the breaking fortress was not just a story anymore. It was history. Asterisk, asterisk. The news spread quickly through the galaxy. The Galactic Council was silent, shocked that humans had taken the breaking fortress. Some council members wanted to fight back, but others began to respect the humans' courage and skill. Jake and his team made the fortress their base. They repaired the damage and used the fortress's weapons to defend themselves. The fortress was no longer just a stronghold for the aliens. It became a symbol of human strength. The council sent a message to Jake. They wanted to talk about peace, but some also warned him not to push too far. Jake knew the galaxy was changing. Humans were no longer weak or easy to ignore. Inside the fortress, Lisa worked on new technology to improve their defenses. Ben trained the small group of humans and allies who had joined them. Sarah explored the fortress, learning every secret path and hidden room. One day a young alien came to the fortress. She was different from the others, curious and not afraid of humans. Jake welcomed her and listened to her story. She told them about planets suffering under the Council's rule. Jake decided to help those planets. He sent messages to those who wanted freedom. More aliens joined the humans, hoping for a better future. The Galactic Council grew worried. They could no longer control the galaxy as before. Tensions rose, and the threat of war grew closer. Jake knew they needed to be ready. He planned new missions to protect the weak and fight injustice. The fortress was now the center of a growing human alliance. The day a human landed. Inside the breaking fortress had started a new chapter for the galaxy. Humans were no longer just survivors, they were leaders. Jake looked at the stars from the fortress window. He thought about the long road ahead. The mission was not over, but he was ready. The human spirit had proven itself strong. The galaxy would remember the day humans took the fortress. It's the day they changed everything. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The galaxy was watching closely. News of the human victory had spread to every corner. Some planets cheered, while others prepared for the coming changes. Jake and his team worked hard to keep the fortress safe. The Galactic Council was divided. Some wanted to negotiate with the humans, hoping to avoid war. Others wanted to send a fleet to take back the fortress. Jake knew the Council's power was breaking. Inside the fortress, Lisa created new devices to protect them from enemy attacks. Ben led training for new recruits. Sarah kept exploring, finding ways to improve their defenses. One day Jake received a message from an unknown source. It was an alien who wanted to join the humans. She was from a planet far away and wanted to fight against the Council's control. Jake welcomed her warmly. The human alliance grew stronger. More aliens joined, sharing their skills and knowledge. Together, they planned to protect the weak and fight for freedom. The Galactic Council sent spies to watch the fortress. They tried to learn human secrets. Lisa worked hard to keep their plans hidden. Jake prepared for a possible attack. He knew the Council would not give up easily. The fortress was ready, but the fight was far from over. As Jake looked at the stars, he felt hope. The humans had shown the galaxy their true power. The day a human landed inside the breaking fortress was just the beginning. Many challenges were ahead, but Jake believed in his team and the human spirit. The fortress stood as a symbol of courage and change. The Galactic Council's laughter was now a memory. The galaxy was watching and humans were ready. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The tension in the galaxy grew. The Galactic Council gathered to discuss the human threat. Many feared a war that could destroy everything. Jake and his team stayed alert in the fortress, ready for whatever came next. One night, scouts reported a large fleet moving toward the fortress. The Council had sent their best ships to take it back. Jake knew this would be the hardest fight yet. The team prepared for battle. Lisa worked on weapons and shields, making the fortress strong. Ben organized the defenders, teaching them to fight. Together, Sarah set traps and watched the skies. The enemy fleet arrived, their ships dark and powerful. The fortress's defenses opened fire, and the battle began. Laser beams crossed the sky, and explosions lit the darkness. Jake led the fight from the fortress walls, gave orders, and inspired his team. The humans fought bravely, surprising the enemy with their skill and teamwork. As the battle raged, Lisa found a way to hack the enemy ships. She sent signals that confused their systems. Causing chaos among their ranks, Ben and Sarah led small groups on raids against enemy ships that tried to land. They fought with courage, defending the fortress at all costs. The Galactic Council watched the fight, shocked by the human strength. It thought the fortress would fall quickly, but the humans held strong. After hours of fighting, the enemy fleet began to retreat. Their ships were damaged, and their morale was broken. Jake knew this was only the beginning. The Galactic Council would not give up easily. But the humans had shown they could fight and win. The fortress stood tall, a beacon of hope for those who wanted freedom. Jake and his team prepared for the challenges ahead, knowing the galaxy's future was in their hands. The day a human landed inside the breaking fortress was a day the galaxy would never forget. It marked the rise of a new power, one built on courage, unity, and hope. Asterisk, 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 after the great battle. The galaxy was full of talk about humans and their fortress. Many worlds began to see humans differently. Jake and his team knew that their mission was far from over. The Galactic Council met again. Some wanted peace talks with the humans, while others prepared more forces. The council was divided and unsure. How to face the growing human power? Inside the fortress, Jake worked with new allies. They planned missions to help planets under the council's control. Lisa built better communication tools so they could connect with friends across the stars. Ben trained the growing group of defenders. Sarah explored new places, finding weak points in the council's rule. The humans and their allies grew stronger every day. One day, a message arrived from a distant planet. It asked for help. Jake sent a team to protect the planet and teach them to defend themselves. As the Human Alliance helped more worlds, the Galactic Council grew nervous. They sent spies and saboteurs to the fortress. Lisa found and stopped many of these threats. Jake knew the Council would try to attack again. He prepared his team for war, but hoped for peace. He sent messages to the Council, asking for talks and respect. The Council ignored the messages. Tensions rose. The galaxy was on the edge of a new war. Jake looked at the stars and thought about the future. Humans had come a long way from being laughed at. The day a human landed inside the breaking fortress was the start of a new era. The fortress was more than a building. It was a symbol of hope, courage, and unity. Jake and his team were ready for whatever came next. The galaxy was changing and humans were leading the way. Asterisk, asterisk. The galaxy was changing fast. Many planets joined the Human Alliance. Jake and his team worked to build peace and protect the weak. They wanted a future where all could live free. The Galactic Council was worried. They lost power and control. Some council members wanted to fight, but others hoped for peace. The council's hold on the galaxy was breaking. Jake sent messages to the council asking for talks and peace. He wanted to avoid war, but was ready if needed. The humans had grown strong and united. Inside the fortress, Lisa improved their technology. She built new ships and defenses, Ben trained more fighters, and Sarah explored new worlds for allies. One day an important message arrived. It was from a planet that had suffered under the Council's rule. They asked for help to join the Human Alliance. Jake sent a team to help the planet. They taught the people to defend themselves, and showed them the value of freedom. As more planets joined, the human alliance grew. It was not just humans now, but many races working together. They shared knowledge and hope. The Galactic Council tried to stop the alliance. They sent ships to attack planets that joined humans. Battles broke out in space. Jake knew the fight was far from over. He stayed strong and hopeful. Today, a human landed inside the breaking fortress was not just a victory, but the start of a new galaxy. The fortress was a symbol of change and courage. Jake and his team prepared for the future. The galaxy would remember the humans who dared to fight and change everything. Asterisk, 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 the galaxy was quiet but full of hope. The human alliance had grown strong. Jake and his team watched the stars from the breaking fortress. They knew the road ahead would be hard, but they were ready. The Galactic Council had changed. Some leaders stepped down, and new voices spoke. For peace, Jake sent messages to build trust and understanding. Inside the fortress, Lisa worked on new ideas to help planets grow. Ben trained more fighters to protect the weak. Sarah explored new worlds, building friendships and alliances. The day a human landed inside the breaking fortress was now a story told across the galaxy. It was a story of courage, hope, and change. Jake thought about the humans who had believed in him, and the team knew their bravery had changed the galaxy's future. The fortress stood tall as a symbol of human strength. It reminded all that even small teams with courage could change the world. Jake smiled as he looked at the stars. The galaxy was no longer the same. Humans had proven they could lead with heart and mind. The mission was not over, but Jake felt proud. He believed in the human spirit and the promise of a better future. The day a human landed inside the breaking fortress was not just history. It was the beginning of a new age. The galaxy would remember the courage of Jake and his team. They had faced impossible odds and won, and as the stars shone bright, Jake and his team prepared for the future, ready to protect peace and freedom for all. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk.